we're talking about the big news out of the NFL yesterday. The league issuing a memo to teams that any potential COVID outbreak this season among unvaccinated players could lead to forfeited games and loss of paychecks. Now, this sparked a conversation among a number of players on social media yesterday, most notably DeAndre Hopkins, who tweeted this and then deleted it. He said, "Never thought I would say this, but being put in a position to hurt my team because I don't want to partake in the vaccine is making me question my future in the NFL." Hopkins followed that tweet up with this: "By the way, I got about 9 more years left in me. Y'all have a good day." Brandon, as a former player here, I'm going to start with you. What did you make of all this yesterday?
Right. I immediately went back to 2020. The NFL has to be careful. I think everybody has to be careful. We all want to get back to normal. 2020 was horrible. I mean, we're still recovering from 2020. I mean, we're still not normal. This is our new norm. When you think about the NFL, they've always led with parameters and protocols and consequences. They've always protected the shield. Last year, they led with emotion. They put their players first. Last year, there was a video that went viral that pushed the commissioner to do a video and say, okay, we hear you. That video was OBJ. That video was DeAndre Hopkins. That video was Saquon Barkley. We talk about this, some of the biggest superstars, the biggest names in football. We've never seen them step outside the box. We've never seen them push the NFL. And they said, what if it was me? 2020, racial tension soaring. And then we leaned into discrimination. So we have to be careful not to go back and lead with those same protocols, those same circumstances, those same parameters and consequences. Like, yeah, we have to understand that it's people's choice. So what are you going to do? So the NFL has a choice to make, and they have to be very careful, because if there's more superstars standing up, delivering a message saying we don't believe in this, then we can find ourselves with a bigger controversy on our hands. Yeah, everybody wants to get back to business. Everybody wants to watch football, and everybody loves watching basketball, but we got to remember to put the players first. We got to remember to put people first, and I think that's the circumstance here, and it's a difficult situation because the NFL is a business. We all love the NFL. There's 320 million Americans, and almost 100 million are avid football fans. But at the end of the day, they're people too. So if I'm in that locker room, yeah, you got to respect people's choices. So to lead with, you know what, there's going to be severe consequences, forfeiting games, also potentially we're going to deduct pay. That's a tough situation for the NFL. That's a tough situation for players. So we got to be very careful how we proceed.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you, Brandon, that it's a nuanced situation. And vaccine hesitancy is a nuanced discussion. And I don't see there to be a lot of value in callousness on social media about either side of the issue. One thing I did like out of Arizona, it was similar to what Ron Rivera was saying, that Ron Rivera is bringing in doctors to talk to the players. So whatever their personal choice is, they'll have an abundance of information. Even Cliff Kingsbury said, quote, what did he say? Players have been overly educated, if that's possible. So I don't think that's possible. I think you can always just sort of learn more until you get 100% on the test. So I do think, Brandon, that education is sort of a key to this, and the NFL teams have been doing a solid job bringing in medical experts as well to give more and more information so everybody can make their own personal decision with all the facts.
Yeah, so listen, I think this is a great move by the NFL. I applaud the NFL. I think it will be good for the players. I think it will be good for the league. I think it will be good for the fans. And yes, everyone has choices, but the end result of choices are consequences, positive or negative. And it is not right now to play in the NFL. There is a lower threshold as far as vaccination than there is for me to send my daughter to summer camp or to school next year. Like, I can't send my kids to school without the measles vaccine. And my older daughter, her school is basically telling me I can't send her to school because she's old enough without the COVID vaccine. The NFL is not saying you can't play if you're not vaccinated. They're simply saying if you make the choice to not be vaccinated, here is the potential end result of that. And yes, everyone is entitled to make their own medical decisions. But if you're an airline pilot and you choose, your eyes are deteriorating, and you choose not to get corrective lenses or to address it, well, then you might not be able to be an airline pilot anymore. That's your choice. That's your medical choice. But that doesn't mean that the world has to bend its rules to your choices. And I wish it was as simple as, yeah, education. Just educate players. The Washington's football team brought in one of the doctors, scientists, that helped create the vaccine. One of the vaccines. Answered all the questions. And Montez Sweat was asked afterwards, and he was like, yeah, I need more information. Okay, well, I mean, it's going to be hard to get more information than you got right there. So if we are ever going to get back to a level of normal, go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
A level, but that's the thing, though. There's people out there, whether we like it or not. And this is the new norm. The new norm is, hey, have you got vaccinated? Hey, have you got vaccinated? You get back to the office. You vaccinated. You get in Uber. You vaccinated. Everybody want to know if you vaccinated or not. Like, now we're leaning back into discrimination again. Like, it's a badge. So, yeah, like, there's some people on one side, some people on the other. It's just like politics. It's that we're creating another barrier between people. So I get it, Nick, but at the end of the day, there's some people out there that believe the other. So when you say there's severe consequences, it's like, okay, I choose not to get it, right? So now you're saying if our team, if it spreads through our team, now you're saying you're going to deduct my pay because I chose to do the opposite. That's a huge problem in the locker room.
That's not that. Hold on. Okay, but that's the thing. The thing is this: what they are saying is that we are not going to bend the schedule the way we have in years past, not years past, the way we were last year when there was no way to mitigate the situation, right? And last year, by the way, there were different penalties for different teams depending on why you had an outbreak. Did you have an outbreak just because of bad luck, or did you have an outbreak because you were being reckless, right? So the precedent has already somewhat been set. They're not. If the NFL said we are fining every unvaccinated player is losing a game check off the top, that would be one thing. But what they are simply saying is if a game is canceled due to an outbreak, guys aren't getting paid because the game's not being played. Like, that's not wholly unreasonable. And now they are saying we know the science says an outbreak is far less likely if you are vaccinated. And there's one other thing, and I want to give Jason Concepcion credit because he said this, and I think it's a really fine point to put on it. Because I understand everyone's, people say, do your own research, but that can be dangerous. Talk to your own doctor, not someone who added doctor to their Twitter handle and now calls themselves a doctor. But Jason Concepcion said, the analogy he used is because you obviously can still catch COVID with the vaccine. And he said, yes, it's like a bullet. You can get shot wearing a bulletproof vest. The question is, how much damage does it do? And so, yeah, talk to your doctor rather than Googling things. I use the recommendation I would give everyone. But as far as for the NFL, you've got to have the rules set how we're going to do business. And the NFL has set the rules. And I personally don't think there's going to be guys retiring because of it. I think guys are going to forge ahead. They've worked too hard to live out their dreams to retire over it when, by the way, every guy in the NFL had to be vaccinated to play college football. It's different vaccinations, but all of them had to be vaccinated against measles, mumps, rubella to play college football. This isn't a new thing, Jenna.
Look, at the end of the day, other than I'd say the health and safety of all the players and the coaches, the one thing that both sides here can agree on, the league and the players and coaches, is the desire to get in all 17 games of this season's schedule in the safest way possible. So the conversation continues. We see what we will what happens from here. We're going to take a break. Much more First Things First right after this. Stay with us.